Hello and welcome to today's talk on Fact of Frictions, analyzing the impact of political turmoil on minority communities in Bangladesh. I'm your host, Zehra Naqvi, and I'm glad to have a very special guest with us, Zakir Hossain, a well-known activist, advisor to the Bangladesh and other excluded rights movement, and the founder of Nagorik Uddyog. Mr. Hussain has dedicated his life fighting for the rights of minorities and marginalized people in Bangladesh, especially Dalit and other excluded groups. As many of you know about the Bangladesh conditions, Bangladesh is going through a very difficult time. Protests are happening across the country. Misinformation is spreading quickly. And the students are gathered in the large number to express their dissatisfaction with the political and social conditions. Beyond the headlines, minority communities like Dalit, Hindus, and other oppressed groups are suffering even more. Today, we will explore why this is happening and look at the root cause. We will start with recent data, which give us a clear picture of the state of the marginalized communities in Bangladesh. While some progress has been made, these groups remain excluded for the economical opportunities, social services, and political representation. The gap between these groups and the rest of society is obvious, and the current unrest is only making the things worse. The protests and rally we seen in the news are just a part of the story. For the minority community, this turmoil has led to more discrimination, less access to the basic needs, in some cases, violence. So social exclusion, which always has been issue for Dalit, is now getting worse due to political instability. We also need to discuss how the media cover these issues while the media has focused on the protest and student movements. The daily struggle of Dalit families and other oppressed groups losing their lands and religious minority facing discrimination are overlooked often. The media should highlight these deeper issues and just not a big issues like other events. Additionally, we must consider how the government has responded. While the government has made promises to protect the minority communities, and many of these policies are never enforced. Although anti-discrimination law are exist, minorities communities still facing the major challenges this time. So, what can be done to protect these community during this political unrest? Civil society must continue for advocating them, and more cooperation with international organization is needed. Global attention can help bring this change. People must understand how political instability affect the most oppressed groups, and the better laws will stronger the enforcement are the essential part to protect them and empowerment them. To give a brief overview of these issues, I would like to now invite Zakir Hussain. Sir, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much for inviting me for this occasion. I would like to tell you a few facts in minority perspective in Bangladesh. We have in our last census, we have 9.5% minorities in Bangladesh, out of which 8.5% belong to the Hindu communities. But within the Hindu caste hierarchy, you can say there are a number of at least 8.5%, out of which 5% is Dalit communities. Those who are caste affected people lives in Bangladesh. So you can say that higher caste is 3.5%. The rest of the 5% is outcast and Dalit communities. This is the one scenario, and the majority among the minorities, that Dalit communities and the Hindu minorities. On the other hand, we have the linguistic minorities, Urdu-speaking minorities. The Urdu-speaking minorities is basically, called, known as Bihari. They were stranded for a long time in 1997. Our High Court, in an order, in response to public litigation, in an order, they became the citizen in Bangladesh. So they comprises 0.3 million or 0.4 million. It is not, enumerated separately, but it 3 lakhs. This is the one kind of minority. There are other one is indigenous. The indigenous one area, there are 3 districts, and there was a lot of disputes. And in 1997, there was a peace agreement with the hill tract people. So under the peace, this area, it is also 2 million. But unfortunately, last census, total indigenous communities calculated 1.8 million only. We feel that it's completely under enumerated. So, and in addition to that, there are other forms of minorities, very, like Buddhist community, very few in number. It's not Muslims community. You see that they come to the, from Bihar and other parts of India, they migrated in 1947 when country divided, British India, we are in two. Yeah, it is there, but the mostly on the issues of land dispute. Basically in 1947, it was 30% in Hindu minorities in Bangladesh, and again in 1970 when we fought for independence, and then the number was the 20%, around 20%. Then again the Hindu minorities, they suffered a lot because then the government, Pakistan government, targeted the Hindu communities, saying that the India is supporting our independence, so they were vulnerable, and they really left the country and started living in the refugee camp in West Bengal and other parts of India. So part of the refugees after independence, they did not come back. A certain amount of minorities, so it gets lesser and lesser. And again, the land owner was the Hindu minorities 1947 and after that, because Hindus were Jamindar and they occupied most of the land. So land issues have become a serious issues. And in 1950s, there was a communal fight and communal riot and all this. In 1965, there is a war. So war also the Hindus was treated as an enemy. So that is there. So conflict was in quite Hindus people. And again, in the realities in South Asian political context, that India supported Sheikh Hasina unconditionally. Unconditional in a sense that Hasina was very conditioned with Indian support because she wanted to survive and she always looked for Indian support. So India supported, without taking the consideration of people's mind, in Bangladeshi people's mind. So people were very angry against India, and in fact, India getting unpopular in Bangladesh, and Bangladesh was the only friends in South Asian context, but India has also lost this friendship. Unfortunately, because last 3 elections, India supported Sheikh Hasina directly, that people get angry. This is the one. And again, during the Hasina's rule, that open up everything for India, like, transit. Transit means that a number of countries are connected, but in fact, it was a corridor. So we given the road transportation. We have opened up the water transportation for India, but Bangladeshi perception, and which is true, Bangladeshi perception is the Bangladesh did not get anything from Indian side. We have a lot of demand because we want to connect the Bhutan, we wanted to connect the Nepal, but India always denied, and we did not get even taxes that transfer the goods and materials from Chittagong port to the other 7 sister countries. So India getting unpopular due to the supporting undemocratic government. So this is the whole anger, was serious issues in Bangladesh. Then again, in after this, when Hasina left the country in 5th of August, when the people's uprising against the autocratic government and students' movement, then immediately after that, there was a conflict. There was the attack against the minorities, which is really unfortunate. It lasts long, only 2-3 days. Why it is 2-3 days, and who were really attacked? Basically, the attack was against the minority people who directly hold the position of Awami League. So the power party. So people were so angry that they started, attacking the Awami League leaders in the rural level. Even it is not only the fact for the Hindu minorities, but other minorities as well as the whole leaders of Awami League. They left the country or hiding. because they cannot come out of the public. They are so angry. So you see that whole things are more political. So attacked. We visited some part of Bangladesh and we found that cases that we were attacked. This man is a Hindu, belong to the Hindu community or indigenous community. What is his political position? He is directly involved with the Awami League. It's maybe the Union Council, as you know, lowest administrative unit in Bangladesh. We call Union Council. So Union Council, president of this particular party, or elected from the Awami League symbol, or the leader of the district committee, the leader of the district committee, and again leader of the sub-district committee. So they were targeted. Its target is not that the person is the minority, belong to the minority. The target was the party. So this is the one kind of target. They set fire in houses. But in terms of attacking the temple, it was very few. No, in fact, there is none. I think in this time. But previously, because of the social, media, sometimes diffuse the wrong information. So that was more, previously 2-3 things happened last year and before that. But this year, temple was not attacked. And then the attack was associated with the land dispute. So we found number of attack that related to the land dispute. Some land by the majority Muslims and disputes were there. So they wanted to occupy using this chaotic situation. They really fought against, attacked them, and some of the minorities also displaced, from their land, especially indigenous community in northern part of Bangladesh. So this in general. But the positive side is that immediately in the 7th and 8th, because, Hasina left the country on the 5th and the 6th and 7th, within a short period of time, the history says, global history says, when the any kind of vacuum started in the country, because the whole country was no administration, no police administration. The police station was set fired by the rebelled people, and there is no administration, no law enforcing agency was in the street, no traffic, nothing. Insecurity was so high, but people came out to the street. Young people generally, even everyone, as peoples and students, they came out in the street and they started to guarding the whole night that everything is secured. So this is one. Even by the group, even Islamic group, I must say, I know that Islamic group is very few in Bangladesh, but Jamaat Islam and others, they are cadre in some areas, also jointly guarded the temple so that nobody comes and attack the temple and other things. So it was the direction from their top leadership, and even the students leader, who is now more or less controlling the country. Still they are very strong. The students group, they call all like 165 identified as everyone is a coordinator. So the very powerful student leader, they came out within the 2-3 months. It's very miracle things, and we are very hopeful that Bangladesh will really take steps in future for equality and all this, because discrimination, it's called a anti-discrimination campaign, movement. So this, I think that student leader, they are straightforward. They declared that if anyone attack the opposition parties of his opposition, any minorities people, they will take actions. And some of the actions we have already observed from the even religious party, BNP, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, and others. So this is something and very, very hopeful for the whole country. The other thing is that this is the first time in Bangladesh that the minorities came out in the street, and it was really hints from the present interim government. Interim government said that everyone treat yourself as a citizen. don't really touch any minority and give them any separate identity. They are the citizen of Bangladesh as per our constitution. So in Chittagong city, there I can say the millions of minorities they came out and in the street. It is a huge. They say that we are the citizen of Bangladesh, and it is never happened in our history that so many the Hindus community came out, their leaders came out, and solidarity shows by the other civil society groups and human rights groups. So this was the one kind of uprising of minority as well to protect, to defend their rights and identity. So this was in even Dhaka city. It's 8th or 9th of the August. They also came out in the street and saying that and shouting in the street saying that we are the citizen of Bangladesh. We have every right. Nobody is they cannot attack us. I wanted to tell you that that minority was attacked, of course, but in terms of the political identity as well as land dispute, but in general. But one group was I must say, very dangerous attack. This is the Ahmadiyya group. So, Ahmadiyya lives certain places in Bangladesh, but mostly in a northern part of Bangladesh. It's called the Panchagor. It's quite a bordering area, but they have the Ahmadiyya Jamaat. So I visited with the Barrister Sarah Hossain, you may have heard her name, and some of the very renowned human rights activists. We went together, and we found the attack was really awful because the Sunni Muslims, as it is Pakistan, not that serious what is in Pakistan, but they declared that Ahmadiyya should be declared as a non-Muslim. So that is the tension is there. So they take the chance in fifth evening. So they burned the 100 houses, which was really, really very bad attack. And we are so sorry to see this. I observed personally there. I was up there, and I found that they burned the houses, buildings, and they were quite rich. Economically they are quite good, and financially they are quite good. So their houses were burned, brutally, looting and attacking, and their main building, that is Jamaat, and their library and complexes and student, dormitory, all this. It was so walled, very, very hard wall. So they could not enter into the building. But 22 students they protect, and two, three was highly injured, and one is in hospital, still as a struggle to survive. So the Ahmadiyya areas attacked brutally, and it is really it was a religious attack. It's I can say it's a communal attack in one sense, because the majority Sunni Muslims wanted to declare them as a non-Muslim, and the Ahmadiyya practice is different. So in that sense, but I can tell you that the now tension is quite it's reduced, and there is no tension in minority issues, but tension is otherwise. So how we can really take forward the Bangladesh as a democratic one. Unfortunately, after 1947, Pakistan and Bangladesh under crisis, not democratic transition properly, but it is the same as under the same country in India. Bangladesh somehow managed to arrange some democratic norms, some standard and voting system, but Bangladesh, Pakistan, still we are suffering. I think that this opportunity will give us to establish the democracy, at least at what we can say a capitalist form of democracy or bourgeois democracy that we can achieve, during this next year. Let's hope for that and pray for us. We are still in a crisis. We hope that we can overcome the crisis. And if you like, I can share my 7-8 articles that I wrote with my colleagues last 7 years with the SAS, South Asian Collective for Minorities. I am also part of this, and Pakistan One organization also the member. So we are 5 organizations collectively produce the minority reports every year. So 7th edition already came out in the as a printed form. Now we are working on the one new report this year is access to justice and minorities. So I will share with you. And recently our visit report from the northern part of Bangladesh, I can also share with you if you like. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
please. Thank you so much, sir, for shedding light onto the ground reality. Thank you so much. In conclusion, even though the current situation is Bangladesh is tough, there are ways to move forward. It will take the combined effort of communities, organization, and the media and the global community to ensure the marginalized groups are protected or respected. Together, we can work together to a more fair and just society, even during the political unrest. Thank you for joining us today for this important discussion. Your interest helped brings attention to these issues, and we appreciate your commitment to stay informed and support change. Until next time, take care and keep standing up for the right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.